Welcome to the Your Family Dog podcast, where we celebrate the special bond between families and their canine companions. Our goal is to help families and dogs grow up together, one episode at a time. Welcome back to the Your Family Dog podcast. Today, I'm rejoined by friend of the show, Melissa McCue-McGrath, and we're going to talk about dogs in city spaces, especially as it relates to kids and dogs. So, talk to me about this.
Sure. Here, volleyball. Um, so for 20 years, most of my work was in Boston or the burbs of Boston. You might hear the aw, Boston. Um, and so many of my clients were either in high rises, like traditional high rise apartments that have like cookie cutter apartments, long hallways, elevators, things like that, with kids and families and stuff inside.
Right.
Or they would be in these old houses that used to have like fit a family of 42 that have been chopped up into individual units. So like you might have an apartment on the first floor of a house that had been converted to an apartment, and then the second floor would look very different, and like you just kind of rent or purchase the house there.
So, are
Um,
you like renting a room, but the main common areas are shared? Is that
there
how
would be
that
no
works?
main common areas except for maybe laundry in the basement.
Oh,
So
okay.
like those are kind of what the two flavors of apartment buildings in New England tend to look like, because like when people would emigrate in the 1800s, early 1900s, you would get these big Italian families, big Irish families. They would have these big houses in the middle of a city that would be chopped up into little apartments now, because most people don't have a family of 14 in the
Right.
States.
Right.
We're all like, nope, we're shutting this uterus down. Like, we're having two, like a digestible two children. So instead of using up all that space for a family of two in these urban environments that are so cost prohibitive to live in, they can
Right.
chop that up and still rent out an exorbitantly high financial decision.
Investment.
Like here's like $3,000 a month for like a 1 to 2 bedroom apartment that used to be part of a house. So when I would work with families, especially, like sometimes we would recommend as dog trainers, hey, the dog needs more exercise. Well, exercise for these dogs and for these kids might be go to the park. So it's basically a fenced in dog park for children because they don't have a backyard.
Right.
Like, right? So you might not have a space for your kid to get exercise or go for a walk. Where are they walking to? The way that cities, especially Boston, have been chopped up. Some areas are very walkable, some areas are not. In our area, like we had a highway, I-93, like an interstate 200 feet from our front door that
Oh,
chopped
that's
off
fun.
our neighborhood. So we didn't really have, unless we were crossing a 5-lane highway, or the interstate, we wouldn't have access to a library, grocery store, school, anything like that. We had to cross one of these two major throughways to access the rest of our city.
Right.
So we've got dogs in these environments. So we've got the kids. And so like, okay, there's like a little park, they can run around. Like that's about it. Or you have these dogs that are moving in with these families who also don't really have a space to be a dog.
There's nowhere to go that's
Exactly.
away.
Yeah.
I I often I often find myself starting with families talking about the mismatch in
Hmm.
how much sleep a dog needs
Oh, yeah.
versus how much sleep humans need, right?
Yes.
And that dogs require tremendously more sleep.
Hmm.
So often, especially when kids are young or like now in the summer while kids are home, the dog is just exhausted. He's like, "Could you all just go
Hmm.
somewhere?
Yes.
Because I need a nap," right?
I
So
need some time. Yeah. But you might not get that in a city because you've got boom, 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 like outside your window. You've got school letting out with thousands of kids walking by your front door. You've
right,
got rush hour traffic, depending on what part of the city you're in. If you're in a more bustling part that's more connected, it's constant noise all the time.
right.
Your window is a foot if you're on the first floor, a foot from a sidewalk where people are walking down and by.
At all
So the
hours of the day and night.
noise, yeah, the noise is
So do you
spectacular.
find that makes does the average dog kind of just get used to that and that becomes part of the environment and they go, "Yeah, that's just that happens all day."
I wouldn't say average dog. I would say some dogs acclimate and habituate to it beautifully. Others do not. And we find those that have separation anxiety or noise sensitivity really struggle, I would argue,
Yes.
tenfold more so in urban environments than they do in the country, because they never do get that decompression time to
Right.
reset. And if you're thinking of a high rise, like a regular apartment that most people are thinking of, and if you've never been in one of these buildings, it's like
They
a
move,
motel
and they
without,
move.
yeah.
Like, if the
y-
wind blows hard,
mhm.
you feel it
If you're
move.
up really high, yeah. You can feel it. You can feel like the trains rumbling underneath the
Right.
buildings sometimes, depending on where they are. In Boston, we've got what's famously called the Big Dig, which was this uh, huge project of taking the highway, like the interstate, and moving it underground, which they did in the 90s and early 2000s. And this was a super over budget project that was relatively successful, but it took a lot longer and a lot more money than they expected because they were trying to put an interstate under the ocean, like, and
I don't
under
like
the city of
tunnels
Boston.
that much.
You wouldn't like Boston, I wouldn't recommend.
Like,
It's
that's
0 stars for you.
like well, I do like Boston because it's like New York City and sneakers and a smile in comparison. Like, they don't like, when you say hello to someone, they look at you weird, but they actually say hi back.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
I don't so I'm a motorcyclist.
Oh, cool.
So when thank you for having that response instead of and no, I'm not a biker. I'm a
No, I
I'm a I'm a motorcyclist. Oh, I have
I
a Hawk GT.
yeah, I have a motorcycle tattoo with a the music G clef inside, and that's to honor my advisor from college. I got
Nice.
this done just before he used to fix old cars. He took me on motorcycle rides, things like that. His wife was cool with it, and he was also the music professor at my college. But he had lung cancer, and he was nearing the end of his time here on this mortal coil. And so I got that done, and then I sent him the stencil before he died. So, like, that
Oh,
was kind of my tribute and homage
I'm
to him
sorry
and
you
his
lost him.
legacy. Yeah, he was a
Yeah,
he was a great guy. But yeah, but motorcycles, I'm all in.
moved to Georgia. Okay, so we have good roads. So, yeah, the idea of, like, tight bridges
Mhm.
and tunnels, like, when stuff goes sideways, there's nowhere to go, and I
Right.
often think that this is how cities feel for dogs, that, like,
Yes.
there's like, here in my neighborhood, if stuff goes sideways, you've got big, huge yards to walk into because
Mhm.
most of our homes are on approximately an acre of land,
Oh, nice.
right? But
Yeah,
no one has that in the, downtown Toronto or New York City
absolutely
or
not.
Boston or lots of places, even Atlanta. Although Atlanta's very green. I think people are always surprised when they visit Atlanta that there's, like, trees everywhere.
Yeah, it's a beautiful city. I loved
It
visiting
is.
once.
It's
Yeah.
really, really pretty, yeah. So, how did you other than rehoming lots and lots
Mhm.
of dogs and going, "Well, this is obviously a farm dog that needs to move to Wisconsin."
Right.
How did you help families navigate that?
Right. So a lot of it was just throwing all the spaghetti at the wall. Um, instead of just saying, okay, well, we're going to try this one thing, you're giving families a list of like 8 things that they have to start that day because we have to get that dog down. We have to get that decompression in some way. And in some cases, some of their, if they were financially able or had opportunities where they could get out of the city with their pet so the pet could decompress, that would sometimes help. And that would often eliminate some of the problems. So let's say they had like a cabin in the woods in New Hampshire. Okay, take the dog this weekend for that, or can you work from
Decompress.
home up there for a week, and then you could get the dog to decompress? weird. Not everybody has that ability.
Right.
So we're putting like the window film up to try to block visual stimuli. We're putting air conditioners on, like actual window units, because they're louder than the home
Yes.
units that they have. Because they're louder and they can block out the noise a lot better. So then you have constant white noise. We find that if the dog was left alone in the home or left with the family in the home during the day and the air conditioner was on, but there weren't anybody right above them, they did a lot better than if they had high heels going up and down the like clunk, 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 clunk all day long. Um, so depending on the flexibility of that dog and the ability of that dog to be able to learn how to cope, we would have some level of success. A lot of times, though, we were jumping to meds, behavior modification medication, way sooner in the city because there were so many variables we could not control.
So, right. So I would say that there absolutely are times where I'm like, okay, hold up.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a bazillion things we can do, but we got to get the family and the dog some basically instantaneous relief.
Yes.
So I'm like, let's call the vet, let's
Mhm.
have a conversation, and
Yep.
let's get some trazodone
Yep.
so
Yep.
that the dog could just sleep, right? Like, so the big side effect of trazodone is that the dog is going to let the world go a little bit and sleep.
Mhm.
So for many of these dogs, my experience is they're like head on a
Yeah.
swivel
They are
24/7
so
and they're
hyper vigilant.
exhausted
Yeah.
because they're hypervigilant.
Yeah.
So so trazodone is often a real well, one, it has a enormous dosage range. So it's a
Mhm.
very flexible medication.
It's very safe.
It's
For the
very
most part, it's a safe
yes.
medication, so if you overdo it, you're in some cases,
You're pretty much
you're
still okay, they're just gonna
okay.
sleep extra, right?
Yeah.
And it's pretty easy to titrate, and then additionally, it's kinda like a glass of wine. So, I often say to families, like, you know those days where you're like, "If I could just, like, have a glass of wine before this conversation,
Yes.
that would be a good place to be," right?
Yeah.
Like, just take the edge off.
Yeah.
So you can have it from just take the edge off to, like, crash and burn sleep.
Yeah.
So, often, I find that my clients that are in high rises, that are in major cities, or extraordinarily sensitive dogs that are
Mhm.
really struggling in an environment, talking to the vet, um regarding medications kinda moves up the timeline
Yes.
because everyone's raw.
Right. Right, and I
So
think,
it's like
like
everyone walking around with a migraine. It's like, "Okay,
Mhm.
we need a stopgap first."
Yeah, and in some cases, like, I once worked for a woman who put this beautifully. She was like, we we tend to as humans come at meds from a well, let's try this, let's try this, let's try this, but sometimes you have to stop the bleeding. So
Yes.
and in many cases, like I had a whole year, and a lot of this had to do with animals coming up from rural environments that were either semi-feral or formerly owned dogs that were just released, breeding in the South that would be brought up by truck, park in a parking lot, and then people would take those dogs and bring them into a high rise,
Right. So you have a
or on the
hunting dog.
train to get to their high rise, and this is the dog's first experience seeing people, and now they're saying, "All the people, what could possibly go wrong?" And so for some of those dogs, like, the safest thing to do is, like, "Okay, meds on board so I can come in safely, and we can now evaluate what we can do, what is
Yes.
possible." And I find that living now in a rural environment in Southern Maine, I am not recommending these meds nearly as often
No.
because the environment allows for decompression. That doesn't say I am not recommending behavior modification medication for dogs here. I do. But I am finding that there's a lot more latitude where I can say, well, we
Yes.
can put this on the table, but I don't think we need to start this right now for most of my cases. Um, we can explore this if these other 4 things aren't working or if we're not
Right.
seeing as much movement, if your dog is still suffering. I think since I've been here 5 years, I think there's only 4 cases in the last well, now my 6th year, um, 4 cases where I can name off the top of my head where I'm like, "We need meds on board before I can really start to work with you and your dog for safety."
Yeah, and
Unlike
those are
in
often
Boston,
the
it was like
dogs.
53 in a row.
Yeah. No,
Yep.
that's yes. So we have a town that's about 45 minutes from us because 'cause I'm a Yankee, so we do distance by time.
We
Um,
do.
we do. We're like, "No, it's about 45 minutes away."
Yeah.
Anyway, so we have a local town that's about 45 minutes away. It's actually a city, 45 minutes away, and we, at one point, were asked by their local humane society to run group classes for them. I have never we worked group classes there 2 years. Every single dog was dangerous.
Mhm. Yep.
And I was like,
What is happening?
"What like, how is it possible that every single dog that's walking in to the training room door has severe
Mhm.
stress and behavioral stuff going on? Like, there's not one
Yeah.
average Labrador retriever? Like, what is going on?"
Yeah.
And I never could sort out what it was.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was,
It
but it's
a lot of it can be the environmental impact that there's just so much input and no decompression time. Some of it is genetic, like, and if you're looking at, either rescue animals that are coming from different environments, mom was raised in a different environment. We would get a lot of dogs from also Puerto Rico, where these dogs have never really lived in a house. They would be kind
right.
of I can handle myself around humans because this is how I get french fries and survive and maybe, like, mango, but I don't
They
hang
also
out
hunt
with
fish
people.
totally by themselves.
Right. Like, I'm going to come within 10 feet of a human, and they're like, "Oh, well, if we can catch that dog and bring it on the plane home, like, he'll thrive." And, like, he's so small, he'll thrive in my condo. And
Right.
these dogs just fall apart, understandably so.
So I don't know if you know this. We now have 1. We did have 2 pot cake, right? So from
Yeah.
Turks and Caicos,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
so it's like, so you have the Satos from Puerto Rico, you
Mhm.
have the coconut hounds from St. Kitts,
Yep.
you have the pot cake from that whole general area.
Yes, yes, yes.
Um, and it's and the rescues do the best they can to try to
Mhm.
say this is a feral dog,
Yeah.
and and people don't get it.
Right.
Like, bringing it into your home does not change it into a domesticated dog.
Correct.
And a feral dog on the street can walk away.
Yeah. And when they're in a condo, they can't. There's nowhere for
There's
them to go.
nowhere to go, right? Like, they can't flee. And
Right.
so then you either get a dog who's completely shut down,
Which is heartbreaking.
oh, it's gutting, or a dog that's coming out of their shoes going, "I need more space."
Yep.
And so in talking with other pocket owners, I have said, I don't know that we're always doing these dogs a favor.
Or
Like,
not.
I personally don't think that they are appropriate to go to a major city, but the
Right.
tourists that come to town that have these dogs
Mhm.
typically are coming from major cities, and so then the dogs are, as puppies, ported to
Yeah.
Toronto or Boston or New
Yep.
York City, and then they're struggling with no space.
No
And
space, a completely different environment, different odors, different smells, different sounds, different everything, and they're on a 6-foot leash, and they never get freedom. They're either trapped in a box, which is basically like
an
an
apartment.
apartment in an apartment building, or they are they're in a box in a box in a box, which is a crate in an apartment in the building. They're always on a leash. They can never have freedom. They can, or if they do get freedom, you got the owners who are like, my solution is daycare and dog parks. And for some dogs, that can
That's
be
not a
great.
great
But for
solution.
others, it's a shit show. And it's and when people are trying their best to try to meet the needs of that dog and they don't know what the other options are, sometimes it's the environment itself that is going to lead you to fail. And I find that in cities, we are not selecting our dogs appropriately in the broadly. We are for pure breed dogs and for rescue dogs. we are not selecting appropriately. And I'm not just talking about breed. I am talking about that individual's ability to cope with sounds, cope with new experiences, being flexible, being all these things. And if that dog was to be put in an apartment with footsteps upstairs all day and kids screaming down a hallway all night and being able to smell 40 feet underground, so if that dog is on the fifth floor apartment, they can smell what deodorant or not the guy on the first floor is wearing. Like, that is an overwhelming experience, and to never be able to have that shut off, we are setting our dogs up to fail and those families to fail because they were told this is a good family dog. And we know this from historical data that and experiences that there are, quote, "no bad dogs, only bad owners." And so when people have this dog who's struggling and they're like, "But I'm doing everything I can. I got him the fancy leash. I'm feeding him grain-free food. I'm doing all the marketing things. I'm taking him to the dog park." And he's, quote, bad. He's barking. He's struggling. He's this, he's that. But they see aggression or they see the dog submissive peeing because it is completely shutting down. These dogs have these behavioral issues, and it's no fault of the dog or the family. It's the environment. And I
Yes.
really feel in my heart of hearts that if we can do a better job getting through to reputable rescue organizations and reputable breeders to say, hey, are we also selecting for the environment that dog will be in?
Yes.
Not just the family, oh, kids under 10 are not cool with this particular dog. That is not enough.
Well, and honestly, that becomes part of the problem, right?
Yes.
Most people who are breeding breeds that would be able to get appropriate exercise and be resilient in that environment are small breeds, oftentimes,
In some cases, yes.
and then also mastiff. Like you
Yep.
end up on both ends of the
Greyhounds. Yeah.
both ends of the continuum,
Yep.
right? And so you've got the two ends of the continuum, and toy breed breeders and toy breed rescues don't like to place with children under 12
Right.
because the risk of a child dropping
Mhm.
or hurting a dog or puppy
Yeah.
accidentally, just being kids,
Yeah.
right? Stepping on them, rolling
Just being
over on them,
awkward.
being
Yeah.
awkward. Your feet aren't where you left them yet last night when you went to bed. Now they're, 6 millimeters further away. Um, becomes problematic.
Mhm.
So I'm I will tell you, like, I came up with some pretty creative solutions for families in those
Great.
situations. So one, find your local cemetery,
That's a good one.
right? Like you can do a lot of your dog, like obviously don't let your dog dig. And obviously,
I've not
like
about.
clean up after your dog. But you have big sight lines,
Mhm.
generally speaking, and there is open space
Yes.
where the dog can decompress and see things coming from a long way. And generally, people don't want to have big conversations with you.
Right.
So there was that. I also learned take the elevator to the first floor and get off and take the stairs. Don't take the dog all the way down to the lobby because the dog
Oh, that's
and the
smart, yeah.
child trying to get out of the elevator, other people are trying to get in, and it gets too compressed
Mhm.
for high rises. And the same thing, get on the elevator at the first floor, not in the lobby, because there's too
There's
much
a lot of
compression
congestion, yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I also taught many dogs how to walk around in an IKEA bag.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one too.
So I cut holes, I had them cut
Mhm.
holes for legs, and we just have a giant IKEA bag,
Yeah.
and the
There
dog
was
walks
this.
around in the
Yeah.
IKEA bag, and then when we get where there's more space, then we can let the dog out of the bag, and you can
Yeah.
put a lot of shredded cheese in an IKEA bag, right? But it just insulated the dogs so that they were not, like,
Yeah.
stepping into crazy,
Yeah.
um, that was completely overwhelming to them, and so, yeah, then that decompression sniff walk
Yeah.
was like a
Still
non-starter
overwhelming. Yeah,
'cause
because
we
like, there's
first
nowhere for
launched
them to go.
them into the ionosphere. So what cool answers did you come up with?
So, looking at elevators, when I give my urban dog presentations, I was actually invited to the UK to give a talk on it, which was really fun. And it was one of the things I talked about was elevators and how, like, for some dogs, it looks like the wall opens up. People get in, the door closes. Oh my God, the wall ate those people. Um,
And
oh,
now you want me to walk through it?
and you want me to do that? No, thank you. Also, the machinery is quite heavy and very loud, and we know that they can hear on different sides of the auditory spectrum from us. So, being sensitive to that, because they can process things that we can't, and we have to always be aware of that, whether it's the smell thing or an auditory thing or even movement, because they see movement better than we do. Elevators have two other problems too. One, and especially for little dogs, when you go to pick up a little dog and we don't give them a cue, like in our case, we've just adopted a 2-pound Chihuahua baby, and we're working really hard to make sure he doesn't turn into like a little Napoleon. So we are giving him a cue up, up, where we put our hands down and we invite
Cheezilla.
him. Pardon?
Cheezilla.
Cheezilla. Cheezilla.
I just
Um,
call them pocket wolves, right?
yes.
Because I personally really love the people who go ahead, pet
Oh,
'em.
and just
I
like
dare you.
hold them in front of you with the teeth going. Um, but for us, we're putting it on cue, so he is expecting us to pick him up. He's getting comfortable with it, and that way it's not like we're just yoinking him into the sky.
Right,
So
you're not a bird of prey.
right. And we're giving him a heads up, "Hey, I'm going to pick you up now." And he's like, "Okay." So we've got a cue to lift him. When we put dogs, any size dog, onto an elevator, we've all experienced this when our stomach drops out. That elevator does that to them too, and I find that it's more, kids, like, little kids are more sensitive to that. It might be because, like, just their bodies are different, and smaller, and they just might be more sensitive to it, but I also find dogs seem to be incredibly sensitive to that movement, and so making sure that the dog is starting to acclimate to that, and then on the inside of an elevator, if you have one teen that walks in with Axe body spray, good luck trying to get a dog into that, right? That is an assault on their sinuses and on their nose. It is
Right, like,
profoundly
if
unfair.
it's overwhelming for us,
Mhm.
which any mother of a teenage boy, like, they go from, like, these they s yeah.
On either side of
When
the
those
spectrum, whether
when
it's all
those
sweat or
when
all
those
Axe.
hormones change,
Uh-huh. Mhm.
ooh,
Yeah, so when we're talking about elevators, I usually recommend if somebody is able-bodied, I would start kinda similar to what you would recommend. Don't take it all the way up or all the way down. Using the stairs as often as possible, plus you're also getting your steps in, but those doors are hydraulic and they're loud, and so even working on sensitization or desensitizing, to these dogs who are really struggling with just the sound of these doors, ka-chunk, bump. Like, there
yes.
are so many things that we just take for granted. Walking up and down a hallway, that is an indoor
Where you
sidewalk.
never know when the doors are gonna open,
Mhm.
and Rufus is gonna come out like he's been shot out of a torpedo tube.
Yep. And we know how well dogs do head to head on leash. We already have barrier aggression. These dogs are coming out on leash, walking at another dog. So
And they've
practicing those U-turns.
probably had to hold their urine an extra 3 hours.
Yep.
Like,
And
they're
then
in
we're
a
asking
hurry.
them to walk down the stairs or going into that elevator. Like, when we are thinking about having dogs in urban settings, we are not really thinking it through. I am not saying that we shouldn't have dogs in cities.
Of
We
course.
Right, my dog Captain, we got him. We had tried 3 dogs with us in a city, and we returned them all to the shelters because it was not fair for those 3 to be in our environment.
Right.
And I was also able to write a behavior plan for them because that's my work. So I dedicated time, wrote a behavior plan, wrote out that dog's probably best life, and 2 of them were placed correctly. Another went on to be a service dog for a kid in another town and was thriving in
Right.
that environment. It was
Yes.
awesome. So, like, that dog got to go live a great life, and then we got a dog who could give 2 craps about sound and kids in our space. Like, our dog didn't just tolerate children, he loves kids almost to a fault. So, like, trying to find that
Right.
unicorn for a city is really hard, but it is possible.
Yes. Yes. I would say there are a lot of people who are like, "A dog is a dog is a dog," and I'm like, "No, no, 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 no." Like, we couldn't just swap out your partner and have all the dynamics still work. Like that.
Well, I'm not gonna yuck your yum, but okay.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Um,
Like
but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
can't,
100%.
like, it's like, no, it doesn't, they're not
It
interchangeable. They're not
right.
a smartwatch that you just like,
Right.
oh, okay, I'm gonna link it up to my phone and then it'll be great.
They're not
Um,
robots. Like, with every variable of challenge, whether it's now we have a kid we have a dog that needs, a home, so we've got that. But the dog struggles with kids, the dog struggles in small spaces, the dog struggles with noise, and the dog can't be left alone. With each of these variables that we're asking we help of the dog, we also have to look at the people. So the
right, and we're
people.
exhausting the adults.
Yes. Yes. And so if we're living in a city, let's say we're just living, right? So I live in the country with 3 acres and no neighbors that we see on a dead end dirt road. This is a dream for a lot of dogs, right? But you take away the dirt road and I live in a suburban environment, but it's still a standalone structure. Maybe that dog would struggle a little, but be able to cope. Then I take that same dog and family and I add 2 small children to it. Well, maybe that dog is struggling a little more. Well, now I take that family and I put them in a box in the city, and now I'm adding another layer. So, and then that in that city, we live next to a highway over a train station. So, like, each level of restriction, we are asking more of that dog and we need more flexibility from that dog. We can't just look at size or general personality. We have to look at its ability to cope with noise, with people. Like, if you have a dog who's afraid of people and you're trying to walk it down a sidewalk with
Right.
thousands of people, how well do you think that's going to go?
Right.
Um, yeah, so it's harder to follow Annie Phoenix's The Midnight Dog Walkers when there's literally people walking at midnight. Like,
No, I mean, I
yeah.
have people who have to do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I,
but there's
we
other people
did
in your environment too, so
we
you
did
can't even do that.
teach some of the dogs to eliminate in the shower tray.
Oh, that's smart.
So it's easy to keep clean, it's easy to disinfect,
Mhm.
right? You can do it while you're brushing your teeth. You can pick
Yeah,
up the solids and put them in the toilet and just flush them down.
perfect.
Now, do I think it's ideal that those dogs are really never going outside? Of course
No,
not.
no, but that's
However,
what works.
however, it did allow us for a certain amount of decompression,
Yes.
that they
Eh
weren't 3 or 4 times a day assaulted
Mhm.
with a world that was really much bigger than what they could
Right.
navigate.
Yeah.
Um, and lots of people were kinda grossed out by that idea in the beginning and very quickly realized how much better it was
Mhm.
for everyone involved. Also, the dog
Yeah.
could just go when they needed to go. So now this mom with a toddler and an infant
Yeah.
didn't have to try to figure out, like, how am I gonna navigate this with a special needs dog on top of it. And I would
Oh
say
my god.
in most urban settings, even the most stable dog becomes in
Yeah.
some way a special needs dog,
Yeah.
right? And then you add winter in Boston or
Mhm.
Toronto or New York City,
Salt everywhere
and
on their
it's
paws.
and you've gotta, like, okay, we gotta bundle everyone up, and then we gotta come and then somebody has to pee, and then I have to pee. And, like, it just I was like, Okay, hold up, flag on the play. Let's just
Right.
do this for now." Um, Still not fun, not
No,
easy.
but check doable.
So we did a lot of scent work in the hallway, in the
Yep.
apartment, on a different floor. So if I had a dog that had sound sensitivity was with what was above them, we would go to the top floor of
Oh,
the
good.
apartment complex and do scent work there.
Yeah.
Um, we also would loosely kind of track the comings and goings of neighbors to know which floor was quiet which time of day.
Yeah.
Right, if everyone was at work, then the kids can, like, run sprints and play and tumble and play soccer on the 3rd floor between,
Right.
like, noon and 4 because nobody's home,
Right, right.
or even hand the dog off to someone else in the building. Like, I had a lot of grandmas who were living
Oh,
like, we would find the person who was the jogger or was the grandma who had a nice quiet
Right.
house that you could either like tag the kids in or tag the
Right.
dog in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you find you're building community within that tiny little ecosystem.
Yes.
Um, People baked a lot of brownies because I was like, you're literally going to get to know every single one of your neighbors. Like, sorry,
Correct.
this is what you're doing
Yep.
because you are basically living as a family unit in this building. And is there probably going to be somebody that you're like, and no, yes, but we're going to find resources in this building
Mhm.
so that when stuff happens, we have options and we've
Yes.
built them in ahead of time.
Yes.
So, snuffle mats to decompress, scent work
Mhm.
to decompress. I had one family who had a herding ball that they took upstairs, and
Oh,
their dog
great.
played with the herding ball upstairs.
That's brilliant.
Um, I mean, I had one family who took a herding ball to the cemetery.
Yeah.
And the dog carried the was herding the herding
Oh,
ball around. Um,
so good.
and the kids could just run and play,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and
And
we
be
could talk
kids.
about how it's kind of a solemn, sad place, but it can also be a joyful place.
Yeah. In Boston, we have Mount Auburn Cemetery. It is a beautiful garden. It's acres and acres and acres. And actually, my best friend's spouse proposed to her in that cemetery. And like, if you hear, oh, you're proposed to in a cemetery, you'd be like, that
No,
face,
it's a
like, ew,
park.
it's weird. But yeah, this is like a community space. It's a park. It is gorgeous. It is wonderful.
It's
Um,
more like European old cemeteries,
yes.
which were parks.
Yeah.
So I learned this: a graveyard is not attached to a place of worship. A
Yes.
cemetery is, right? So it
Correct. Yeah.
doesn't mean that it's physically attached. It can just be like
By
it's
association or,
it
yeah.
states, St. Stanislaus cemetery. It doesn't mean that the church is right there. It just means that that's who helped pay for the land for the
Yeah.
cemetery.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's kept up that way. But in Europe, supposedly, I've not been there, the cemeteries are very much like parks.
Yeah.
So it was you went to church and then you brought your picnic basket and you went and you took care of the graves of your people, but it was a
Yeah.
community thing and it was meant to be a park and a pleasant place to be. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes when I think here in the US, we kind of miss the plot
Yeah.
sometimes of
We
like,
do.
make this a place where you can bring your dog, you can bring your kids, you can talk about great grandma, you can
Yeah.
care for these graves. Maybe we're just all spread out too much to do that anymore. But
Maybe.
um, honestly, cemeteries are pretty amazing and graveyards are pretty amazing places. And I always think of all the stories,
Tennis courts are great too, because they lock
unless they're wet.
unless they're wet. But you do wanna make sure dogs paws because they can shred them, if they're doing, like, lots of tennis ball games and they don't have calluses on their feet. But many do develop these calluses because 'cause they're walking on sidewalks, they're walking on the pavement all the time because everything is concrete. So they do develop the calluses pretty quickly, but, do keep an eye on that for tennis courts. Um, and just make sure they don't pee on the nets, like, because
Yeah, like
that's gross,
be a
but
good
yeah.
neighbor.
Yeah, yeah, be considerate. But yeah, long lines are your friend if you're doing a
And if
bike
your
path, you
dog
can walk.
does pee, like if your dog does pee, like bring good stuff to clean. Like just clean
Yeah,
up after like we
just
should just
be a
be
good
good
human.
neighbors.
Yeah, because like, everything is shared in a city. Every space is communal in a city, even the soundscape. So, like, we are lucky in that we can put on Beats by Dre and tune everything out, our dogs cannot. And so we have to we can listen to a podcast and, like, be immersed in something else by choice. They can't. They are exposed to the communal space and soundscape, whatever that might be.
And
Uh,
a much broader frequency range and with much
yes.
better acuity.
Mhm. And with all the
And then
machinery
and
and
then the
construction and
soundscape.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
no wonder
setting
they're blown out.
no kidding. It's awful. It's so much for them. So if you have a dog that is, like, completely blitzed out, like, "Hey, like, I don't care about sounds," like, great. Like, that's awesome. That is an ideal dog for the city. If you have a dog that's a little tweaky every time a door closes in an apartment, maybe not send that dog to
Or your
live
or
in
your silverware drawer.
I know, good yeah.
No, that's like when people foster, I'm like, "So when you close the silverware drawer, what does the dog do?" If the person can't answer you,
That's
you're
great.
good.
That's great.
You're
That's what
good.
you want. Yeah. That is
Then next
exactly
we
what you
ask
want.
about thunder, right? Like, yay.
Yeah.
Um, because yeah, I have had dogs that literally their whole lives, every time we closed the silverware drawer, they
Yeah.
jumped. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
this dog's gonna struggle in any noise in the
Any
environment.
environment that's not predictable.
I do often find myself recommending frequency adjusted music for dogs
Mhm.
and not quietly.
Yeah.
Like we're not playing classical music or the
No,
sound
you
of
need to
raindrops.
drown it out.
I want this is how I say it. It's me. I'm like, I want the music so loud in the beginning that a murder can happen in the kitchen and the dog doesn't know. And then you slowly walk it down to where we can all survive, right? Like if you're not wearing earplugs, it's probably not loud enough.
Y
But that's the level of masking sound that
Yeah.
that we need
Yeah.
because it's too much and we're not even aware of everything that they're getting battered by.
Right. Right.
So it that's like a really and then you start to learn. Like you're like, okay, today the stereo is going to be on 27, man your earplugs.
Mhm.
Like earplugs in, right? But eventually you figure out
Murder
like, oh,
on.
okay, if I have it at 8, I can survive and so can the dog. The music sounds weird, but that's okay,
Okay.
right? Lots of pheromone.
Yeah.
Like I'm like the fairy godmother of dog appeasing pheromone, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely forgetting on so, like, before we get you in the IKEA bag, we're gonna spray some pheromone in there and let it dissipate because I'm gonna take you on the train
Mhm. Or
or
even
in a
just towards the
taxi
platform, like, or even, like,
or
to the
it
train so they can hear it stop,
put it
like
on your clothing so that when you step into that elevator, it smells like that dog's mother's love, right? Like, anything we can do to kinda help that dog just, "Oh, it's gonna be okay."
Wow, this cannibalistic, wall that opens and closes and eat people, but it smells like mom. Like
I'm gonna ride the dragon esophagus down to the first floor. I often say to people, like, for a moment, could you like, imagine being on your hands and knees.
Mhm.
I mean, thank goodness farts are hot and they go up, not down. But, like, we have all gotten on an elevator
Oh, yeah.
that someone obviously had too much burrito.
We have all done that to an elevator.
Oh, I mean, yeah, right? Sometimes unintentionally.
And sometimes
I had I had
intentionally.
I had a foster son who used to intentionally fart in the car as he was getting out and then close the door and cackle like a loon. But imagine that for your poor dog. Now maybe
Yeah.
they like it, I don't know. They're like, there's a
It
hint
smells
of
like my mother's love.
it smells like cilantro."
Yep.
Not so, right? But, like, we don't even have a look in on that. Like, our
No.
noses are so dumb in comparison
The
to our
the
dogs.
only thing I can think of is, like, the perfume counter from, like, the late '80s, early '90s when you would walk by and you would get a headache if you walked by that counter. That has to be the closest analogy that to what they are experiencing on the
I
daily.
always say it's like the lady in church who has too much perfume on that you're
Yeah,
like, "Whoa." Like,
yeah,
my eyes are
but it's all of
tearing up and
us.
my nose is running.
Mhm,
Yes. So, there are ways to help your dog with scent, but they're not great. Um, for example, I have 2 intact male dogs. We have a female dog, a mastiff in class that has a hooded vulva.
mhm.
One of my males is finding that very difficult to navigate, like, he's,
Oh,
like, all up in her business, and so I went and bought vanilla, and
oh,
I rub vanilla on his schnoz, and I
very
rub vanilla on her
yeah,
hoo-ha,
Yeah.
so that all he smells is vanilla
Yeah.
with a hint of hoo-ha, and he is able to think a little bit. Um,
Ah, these are the things that when you got your first puppy, you were never thinking that
the
sentence.
right? And I will
I
say
love
it makes
dogs. I
both
wanna
of them
work with
smell
them.
they smell like sugar cookies, so, like, they get more kisses, so it, like, makes it
Well,
up to them. So, can your dog learn how to get in the elevator that smells like everyone has had a burrito? Can you help them with that? Yes, you can help them with that.
yeah.
Like, can we do a dog appeasing pheromone collar and spray and diffusers and all of the things? Yes, we can also do that for your cat, by the way, with Feel Away.
Mhm.
We can make it better, but I
Good.
do think we sometimes just, especially as mamas and as
Mhm.
dads, we're overwhelmed with all the directions we're
Everything.
pulled in, and
Yeah.
we sometimes forget to see it from the child's point of view. Like, an
Yeah.
elevator from a child's point of view
Again, a
is
big
closer to the dog's point of view.
yeah, it's a big scary door that eats people,
Yes,
and
and
it's
then the floor
loud.
moves.
Uh-huh. And it hurts. It hurts my belly. It hurts my head. I feel weird. Like, I don't like it.
Right.
And we're just like, "We gotta get to the doctor's office, so get in the elevator."
Right,
Like
and we're always in a hurry, there's
mhm,
always yes, right, especially, like, just adding 2 new dogs to our household, I'm like, and now I'm 3 months behind because they don't know the routine yet,
right.
and I think that that's the other piece for all dogs, but especially city dogs,
Mhm.
is getting them used to, like, just the pace is different,
Yes.
right, and children, God bless them, I love them, but they make everything take longer, right? Because somebody
Yeah.
needs to go to the bathroom or my socks hurt or can
Yeah.
you tie my shoe for the 40th time today? Or I need a
Yes.
snack or I can't find my backpack or where are my glasses? And then
What
I'm
is
like,
that? Why is your hand sticky? All the things.
all the things, right? So, things that can really help those dogs, whether you're in an urban environment or not, is to practice the chaos.
Yes.
What are we gonna do with the chaos, right? If someone vomits or drops M&Ms all over the floor, what do we do for a 911? Well, teaching your dog to go to your bed, but, like, being able to practice at any
Yes.
giv so a lot of times I call it ollie ollie oxen free,
Oh,
right? So it
I can
doesn't
see it.
sound
Yeah.
grouchy.
Yeah, yeah.
And at any given time, ollie, ollie, oxen free, and the children go to specific locations, and so do the pets.
Yep, that's
So
great.
that and sometimes I'm doing it just to get everyone on the same page,
Mhm.
or
Change the
at
channel
least
for
in the same
everybody.
chapter or
Yeah.
the same book, right? So, but practicing, what are we gonna do? Like, how are we gonna do XYZ? So if Mildred, 3 doors up, will play with the kids for an hour, just practicing with your dog, the in and out of going in
Yep.
and out of the elevator and
Mhm.
riding the elevator and people getting on and off. And by the way, turn around so their back is to the door or their
Mhm.
side is to the
I
door.
like the sides, that way they can choose
So
to
they're not nose to nose with whatever's coming in.
mhm, and it could be
Whether it's
another
the
dog.
person that's afraid of dogs or the DoorDash guy who has a giant sack of food that's leaking, and the dog's like, "Well, now we're
I
talking."
love elevators now.
Right? Elevators are the best, right? Just thinking through all those scenarios, letting them learn that those whoosh whoosh doors are not
Mhm,
gonna murder them or
mhm.
cut them in two.
Right,
It's not a guillotine
right.
on its side. Um Teaching them how to do the stairs at whatever speed and gait you and your kids need.
Mhm.
Just 5 minutes,
Take your time.
3 times a day. You can totally make all of this smoother for everyone.
And you can even gamify it. Like, if the dog has a decent stay, you could ask the dog to stay and then have the kids, all right, go down 2 flights. And if they're old enough kids, right? Like, and again, we have to look at like the variables at play. I would not do this with my 4-year-old. All right, go down there and call our 60-pound lab to you. Like, what could go wrong? But you could turn this into a game of some sort. If you have a small enough dog, decent enough stay, an old enough kid that kind of gets
A
it, like
good enough
gamify it.
recall.
Yeah,
Yes. And
gamify.
and clearly you can do it on your haul too,
Mhm.
right?
You can.
Teaching the dog a bazillion tricks, right? Learning new things, formulaic work, like learning how to crawl or to back up and scooch.
Yeah.
These are things that can help a dog feel better,
Mhm.
even though they're in a box,
In a box.
potentially in a box,
Yeah.
over a box, in a
In a
box.
box, box and socks. Like,
Right, like it becomes Dr. Seuss.
yeah.
So, also balconies, if
Yep.
balconies are available, like, ooh, they can be very nice for decompression. They can
Yeah.
also be absolute Hades on toast for some
Yep.
dogs.
It
Like
depends on
some
what they're into. Like, if they like to just sit there and smell the air and be checked out, some dogs do really well on a balcony. Others, it's just another point of contact of them having a visual on the entire city, and then they go into hypervigilance again. So you, again, have to know the animal in front of you.
and sound and sense are different 5 stories up or 13
Oh,
stories
yeah.
up than they are on ground level,
Yeah.
right? Um, anything we so I do a lot of roller gates.
Yep. Those are
Lots of
great.
roller gates,
Mhm.
lots of teaching when there's a knock at the door or the doorbell rings, where is the dog supposed to go? And
Mhm.
we secure the dog before we open the door,
Mhm.
right? Because whether it's DoorDash or Amazon or Instacart or any of the delivery services,
Mhm.
we don't want the person who's afraid of dogs with a pizza to be suddenly met by
With a
the
dog who
dog
loves
who's afraid
pizza.
of pizza that loves well, that's not afraid of pizza, that loves pizza but is afraid of people. Like,
Yeah.
this is not a good
That's a
mix.
bad day. Yeah.
It's a bad day. It just ends poorly. I do love that lots of delivery places have a no contact option now. That's
Yes.
one of the good things about COVID,
Thanks,
because you can be
COVID.
like,
That
"Just
really worked
leave
out
that
for
there.
us.
Just leave that there." Right? Because I used to say, "Put a note up that says, 'Just leave the food, we're all good.'" Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, people didn't like to do that. So
Another
putting
thing
the
that can
dog up first and
yeah.
practicing that, right? If your dog knows that cookies means go to the primary bedroom, there's going to be a beef cheek for you.
Mhm.
Your dog will go to cookies every day.
Yeah. I would
They're
also
like,
suggest
woohoo,
that
downtime.
yeah, I would also suggest that, like, so many of these apartments have 2 doors. They have the exterior door that comes into, like, usually a male space or tiny atrium, and then you ring the apartment that you want, and then the person in the apartment pushes a button to unlock the door. That buzz is very startling and very loud. Like, it's a horrible sound in most cases. You can start to work you could either disable it for a few days, and record the sound, put it on volume 1 just like we would with a doorbell, and teach the dog every time you hear this sound, you go this way, you get a cookie, whatever, or you sit where you are and then cookies come to you, however you wanna do it, and then slowly ramp up the volume, because if you are assaulted by that sound, while you're training, the dog could become sensitized to it, which is a problem.
Yes.
Um, so that startling sound can be really, really awful. And just getting them used to that. And then also, like, your personal door has usually a knock. So if you have people coming to your door, they buzz, then the knock, and that becomes a predictive pattern that you really have to be proactive about working on.
So we also can desensitize our dogs by utilizing our neighbors, right?
Yes. Yes.
So saying to your neighbor, hey, every time you walk past my door during these hours, could you like knock as you go by, or could you do the buzzer downstairs for our apartment and not come to the door,
Hmm.
right? Because it becomes a 911, right?
Yeah.
Like the dog is like, "Blah!" Right?
Yeah.
So if it buzzes and then mom doesn't get up to unlock the door because frankly, the neighbor already knows.
Yeah.
Like, she can get into her apartment by herself. She didn't need the buzzer.
Right.
Or juxtaposition, when she leaves, she knocks.
Yeah.
And we don't jump up and go to the door and nothing happens. We also can desensitize the dog that way.
Yeah. Yeah. If the dog can handle that sound at a
At
particular
all.
level, yes. Yeah. If the dog can't handle it at any level, that's where meds come in super handy. Or even rehoming if necessary because the environment is not appropriate for that animal and that family, which is a really hard conversation to have. Um, but do you remember the treat and train? I think
I
it is.
do. I still have some.
Aren't they great?
They're
So
great.
one hack for cities that I put in my book about urban dog ownership and training was taking that remote for the treat and train and hanging it on the outside of the apartment door. This kind of goes to a little bit more about what you were saying.
Oh, you are brilliant.
I wish I could take credit for it. I saw it in a blog post in like 2005. So like I tried to give credit to the person who came up with this in New York City. But
So whoever that
take that
person is,
remote.
we love you and we would love to give you credit, but we don't remember
I don't
because
remember your name. I'm so sorry.
we have some gray hair.
Yeah, but you have the treat and train on the other side of the apartment, so they hear footsteps coming, ding dong, and so, like, you can also take, like, a chalkboard or a whiteboard and write, "Please press button when you walk by my door." So everybody walking by, this keeps the
What
dog
a
from
brilliant idea.
right? This keeps the dog from dashing at the door and bark, 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 and becoming dog reactive and upset, to feet become predictable, and I run to my treat and train, and I'm about to get a cookie on the other side of the apartment.
Okay, so for anyone who now is Googling treat and train,
Is it
um,
Manners Minder now?
and Manners Minder,
Oh,
that
okay.
was the sharper image version that was the exact same product. The downside of this is that those went from a good price being about $72
Yep.
to now a good price being in the $200 range.
It's irritating. If you can get one on eBay or if you have a trainer friend who might have a stock, you can go that way with
Uh,
it.
right, like I have some and I often loan them out, but I'm hesitant to sell them,
Mhm.
though I probably would in the right circumstance. I have been desperately searching, so this is where we put the shout out to the listeners or watchers, the viewers, because you're just watching.
I
Um, have you found something similar? Like, would a Furbo do it?
find the
Is there
timing.
something else?
So a lot of these, like, remote trainers where you're going beep and then a treat comes out, I need to clarify, not a remote trainer, it goes zap. But the ones that
And then the
dispense
dog's
treats,
brain comes out?
then it goes through their big ears. No, they tend to have a little bit of a delay. The manners minder treat and train thing, that seemed to have a pretty decent, timing,
Yes.
but the delay on a lot of them, I would think that for most the purposes that I just described, where you're pushing the button and the dog has to then go to the other side of the apartment, that delay becomes null and void because it takes time for the dog to get there. If you're trying to use one of these as, like, I'm at work and I ask my dog to sit and then I go, "Yes," and then you hit the button and then 10 seconds later a treat shoots out, that's a little bit of a different scenario, you know what I mean?
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if anybody has, well, first off, whoever has the patent for treat and train, could we please bring production back to the US and like make these available to people again? It's getting more and more important. Please.
I agree.
Begging you. Please, 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 please make these available.
I agree.
Because they're like hen's teeth to find.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart. If you're out there and you found something that you're like, hey, I think this kind of sort of not really does what Melissa and Tina are talking about, please shoot an email
Yes.
to the Your Family Dog Podcast at gmail.com so we can test out these
Oh, that would be
products.
wonderful. Yeah.
And if you are a manufacturer who makes something that does this, please, for the love of goodness, reach out to us and come on the podcast and talk about it
Uh-huh.
because this is a product the world needs.
We need it. We need
We
it
need it.
back. We had it and now we don't.
We had it and now we don't. And it breaks my heart. Like, I think I have 4 left,
Oh,
and I
okay.
guard them
I was
like
gonna say that you're
a dragon on a pile of gold.
it's like Tom Cruise with, like, the lasers, and he's, like, being suspended from the ceiling to get it.
I have treat and trains. Well, so, Christopher once came into the room I was in, and he was white as a sheet.
Oh, no.
Like, I thought we were needed an ambulance. And he said, "Serious as a heart attack. We're out of bacon." And I was like, "We are not out of bacon. We are not out of bacon. Like, let me come out." We were out of bacon,
Oh, no.
right? That's how I feel I would be if I went and looked and my treat and train was gone. I would be like, what? Like, no, but so if
Yay.
you have a issue living in the environment you live in with your dog and your kiddos that you want some creative like soundboarding on how to help, we're down, like email
Yes.
us,
Yes, yes,
right? Like we
yes.
we love you, we want to help you. And you mentioned that you wrote a book on that.
I
What's the name of
did.
the book?
Considerations for the City Dog. And now it was self-published in 2015. I've since been real published with a different book, but, like, that was my foray into writing books, and it was all about, like, misunderstanding things in the zeitgeist, like socialization and where we're getting our dogs, and how looking through the lens of urban living affects all of these things that we do as humans with our dogs. Um,
Right, like
yeah.
asking your rescue, okay, if this is a dog that was on a transport from the South,
Mhm.
did the dogs come from a rural environment,
Mhm.
right? Are these mountain dogs?
Yeah.
Are these dogs that were out in suburbia, or were
Mhm.
these dogs that were picked up in the city?
Yeah. Yeah, like,
That
where are they
matters.
coming from? What is their sensitivity? What is their degree of sensitivity? What is this? What is that? And just really try and get people to think, not just, like, the broad strokes of, like, I probably shouldn't have a border collie in the city, but if I'm gonna do it, I have to calculate these things out. But this individual dog, is it going to be able to tolerate this environment? And that is a whole different ballgame. Like,
Yes, and not taking the breeds that we tend to view as more resilient as flexible. I will tell you those are oftentimes the least flexible like, when
mhm.
they struggle,
Yes.
their struggle is enormous,
Yep.
right? When we get so I'll use gun dogs as an example,
Sure. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Gun dogs, number 1 risk, sound sensitivity,
Mhm. The irony.
right?
Yeah.
Or poultry intolerance also delights me to no end, right? So the Labrador Retriever who can't eat duck,
Oh, no. Oh,
right?
buddy.
Oh, poor
I
buddy.
can't. I have an allergy.
I have an allergy. I have a duck intolerance.
Oh,
Or
poor
the
baby.
windhound that can't eat rabbit. Nope. One day we'll have to do an episode on stupid things in dogs, like being afraid of the floor.
Oh, my border collie was afraid of sheep. She herded a flock successfully once when, and I wish I were kidding, she was staying with some friends in the country. I don't, you're still going. This is great. She, my friends saw that the neighbor's sheep were out and they
Said, "Hey,
looked at her and they
borrow on a
go,
border collie."
"We got this. We can get these sheep back in. They're out of town. We got this." So they let my border collie out. To them, it looked like she was circling the sheep, and then she just laid down and started staring at something. And then all the
It's like
sheep
'cause she was
started
out of body.
Yeah, right? So she had found a tennis ball, and so she had circled the sheep. She didn't notice the sheep. She's just like, "These things are in my way," and then she was watching the tennis ball. So, like, as the sheep drifted away, they realized she was not paying attention to the sheep because 'cause they're now over there. So they picked up the ball, put it in their pocket, and then she's like, "Oh, damn," and she looks, and there's all these big sheep, and she starts shaking in her boots and books it to the barn. The sheep turn and see a white here's what she looked like. She was mostly white. She was a blue merle, mostly white border collie,
Oh,
So
sweet girl.
so they see a small white thing running and they're like, "Oh, it's one of the sheep." And they followed her into the barn that she was trying to run away from. She got them in the barn unorthodoxly, but she did it. And that
Sheep
was the only
luring.
time she was ever put on sheep.
So my mom used to have Swedish Valhunds, and her first
Ooh.
Valhund, we went to a herding competition,
Okay.
and part of what they were doing at the herding competition was they had a small round pen that they put sheep that were used to dogs
Okay.
in, 3 sheep, and it was like you could just do a herding instinct test.
Yes, yes, yes.
So mom's like, "Cool, I got, like, this 10-month-old Swedish Valhund." So
Oh,
for
no.
those of you who are now Googling what a Swedish Valhund is,
They're
it's the
so fun.
predecessor of the Corgi. So
They're so
herding
fun.
dogs that often were cattle,
Mhm.
sometimes sheep, but mostly cattle. The reason they're short, that you use a short dog typically to herd cattle, is it's less likely to get kicked.
The kick goes over their head.
The kick goes over their head, so and all the better for biting you. So mom takes this 10-month-old intact male, beautiful, full of himself, Valhund into the round pen, and the sheep, who are completely dog savvy, like, these are not, like, neophyte
They're not
sheep.
green sheep.
They're
Yeah.
not green sheep, turned around and screamed, "Wolf," and were trying to climb out of the round pen
Oh, no. Oh, no.
because they didn't know what the fudge that was.
There's something wrong with your tongue.
Sheep were terrified
Oh my
of
god.
this tiny little puppy. It was
Oh
hysterical.
god. That's amazing.
He passed his herding instinct,
I
though.
think you did.
And those sheep, like, once they calmed down, if he stepped toward them, they were like, "Oh,
No, no, we
like,
respect. Bad
we're
respect.
good. We're good. No wolfiness necessary."
That is amazing.
And the guy who owned the sheep was like,
They've never
"What's
done
wrong with
this
my
before.
sheep? They've never done this before." He's
I
like, "I've had Rotties on them, and they were fine."
Oh my
Tiny
god,
little
that's
wolf.
so funny.
Tiny wolf.
Oh.
Hysterical. So, Melissa, I frankly
Tina.
could talk to you until I had to go to the bathroom again. And then I would talk to you again. And I seriously, I delight in having you here, and you are
Feelings
a
mutual.
a breath of sunshine, and I'm so glad that we were able to talk about cityscapes and our dogs.
Yes,
So, I would say to you, take your self-published book, make it an ebook, make it available. We'll sell a bunch of it for you, because this
it
is
is.
something
It's
that
on Amazon because, like,
Oh,
it was
perfect.
through, like, a small publisher, like, a small
Okay.
publishing outfit, but then Amazon bought it. So it's on Amazon. It's on Kindle for, like, $4. It's not expensive
Nice.
because I wanted it to be accessible to people,
Yes.
and yeah, so that's there.
That's wonderful, and
Yeah.
I mean, that's an amazing resource. I may, try to find it on Amazon and include it in the show notes so people
Cool.
can go get it,
Great.
because we want that to be a thing. I'm leaving this podcast recording and going and helping with the spiders and tarantula event.
I'm out.
So did you know how you do DNA testing on spiders?
I am both arachnophobic and so curious. What?
Right? You test the web.
What? Are you serious?
They're amazing, dude. Like, I was not a huge spider fan. Now that I've learned more about them, they are so interesting.
Yes.
So, bunches of spider species have more than one scientific name because at different stages of development, they look so spectacularly different that they didn't realize that's the same species.
Oh my god.
Um, one, they're great with kids because it's almost impossible to be allergic, and they don't really want you to
That's
touch them.
yeah.
Jumping spiders, like the
Mhm.
cute, adorable little
The cute
jumping
ones, they're like
spiders,
"Bing," little
are
peacock ones.
pretty much all over North America
Mhm.
and are very personable and will watch cartoons.
Oh. There is so I have had a spider phobia to the point where, like, my psychology instructor in college I ended up getting my degree in psychology, so we took a lot of classes together, used me as the example of a true phobia. Somebody had gone like this up my back, and I could feel my heart now. Ooh, and we were sitting at a long table, everybody's coffee, breakfast, books. I hulked out and I ran to the window. And he's like, that that is a real phobia. So over the last several decades, I've been working on it because degree in psychology, I can do this. The thing that helped me get over most of it, not fully there, but a lot better. I can even just say the word spider. I literally did not leave when you said that. I made the joke, but I didn't leave.
Right,
Historically,
but
I
you
would have
thought
just
about
left.
it.
I would have been like done and closed my laptop, podcast over. But was I did this little podcast called Bewilderbeast, and so I would study a cool intersection of animals and humanity, and so learning about how to get venom to protect from venomous spider bites. They have people who milk spiders their venom, so that way they can make anti-venom if you get bitten. So that is a job people do, which is pretty cool. And then so I started learning about and then I heard about the ones where spiders would bite guys who would go into outhouses on their opposite of their hoo-ha. And this one guy got bitten by a venomous spider twice. It was just such a funny story. I had to do it even though I was scared. But then my daughter and I started watching these videos of jumping spiders doing their little mating dance, and somebody put it to the YMCA song. And we must have watched that about 15 times. And the desensitization of just that one little video has
Helps.
changed how my daughter and I are able to cope with spiders. If they're in the car with us now, we're not staring at it going, we must stop the car. I literally parked my car in the middle of an intersection and left the car with my baby in the back because there was a spider on my windshield. And the guy comes over, he goes, "Ma'am, what's wrong?" I'm like, "Spider." And then there's my kid with a little sippy cup in the back. He's like, "Ma'am." I'm like, "What?" I stopped the car. She's in her seatbelt. She's got a
There's
juice box.
flashers,
What's your problem? She's safe. Like,
except that she's with.
yeah. So we're getting better
Yes.
because of
So
YMCA and jumping spiders.
I love that. So it's been really learning about them has been,
Demystifying.
oh, they're so cool. There's
Yeah.
so much cool stuff about them. So we actually did a podcast recording on why spiders might be an excellent choice for your child. If they have a processing disorder, they don't smell, it's almost impossible to be allergic from them. They're relatively easy to keep. There's not a lot of cleaning. They don't need giant habitats.
Yeah.
Um, but they do learn the humans who are caring for them.
Oh.
So if you have the kiddo who can just marvel in watching,
Mm-hmm.
they're amazing.
That's
They're
awesome.
really amazing.
That's good.
So yeah, so we're doing that we're recording this on the June 20th. So we're recording it just before Father's Day. So we're hoping lots
Oh,
of kids and dads, and we'll have activities that do not involve touching spiders
great.
because
And
they're
if you're
fragile.
worried about spiders, then just be curious about them and just find the cool things about them. There's one other thing, and then I will stop nerding out. They did this study about spiders. They were trying to figure out how different narcotics would affect the spiders making their webs. Have you seen this? You
Oh,
need
that
to look it up.
on cocaine or something,
There
their
was one that was
webs were
cocaine, and it
black.
looked like a blistered windshield. There was the one that was on pot, and it started making the web, and then it just kinda gave up. Like
Just kind of took a nap.
just, went
It's
back to sleep.
like I need a fly.
He's like, "Well, I can't eat Doritos, so I guess I'm just gonna go to bed." And, then they did heroin, they did, nicotine, caffeine, they did all these different things. You can see how the different drugs affect spiders making their webs, and you're not looking at the spider, you're looking at the webs, and that might be another entry point in and another silly thing that you can laugh at and if you can laugh at it, it kinda helps chisel
It
away at
does.
that phobia.
It does. And I'll tell you, I had a client that I did not know was spider phobic because, of course, that's not on my intake form. And we were teaching a group class, and she was wearing a light colored blouse with her dog. And I'm talking to her, and I look down, and she has this itty bitty little spider on her,
Mhm.
itty bitty. And I just went, "Spider," and pulled the itty bitty spider off of
Uh-huh.
her blouse, and she passed out.
Oh, mama. Oh my god. Oh my god. She didn't even get her hands out, did she? She just went down. Oh, no.
No, I caught her.
Oh, good.
So we I'm like, what the fudge is this? Right. So we take care of her, and fortunately, um, Liz is lovely. So we've become friends as time's gone on.
I
But
think
I
after that,
promised her
you are friends.
that I would never say the word again, that if there was ever a bug on her, I would just say fuzzle.
So, that yeah, and
So
that could
that
be used for any bug. Yeah, my daughter and I, we also changed the name. That helped us. Spooter.
a spooter.
It's a little
Yeah.
spooter. Like, so that's, like, another coping mechanism that we just kinda came up with on our own, but, like, I've since heard other people it's like a rebrand.
Right. So like danger noodles,
Yes! Nope ropes.
nope ropes. And we have nope rope nope because we have venomous nope ropes here.
Oh, no.
So there's stuff you can put out that keeps nope ropes away. So it's
Mhm.
nope rope nope, which I think is like a huge relabeling and
Oh,
people would
yeah.
buy it. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So my ex-husband was terrified of spoodles after a traumatic event with spoodles,
Oh, no.
thousands of them. And so he would murder them if he saw them anywhere. And I was like, "Stop that. This is outside. Like leave the outside spoodle alone. Like it's not
Yeah, they
bothering
live
you."
here.
They live here, and many of them are very beneficial. They're lovely. We have some amazing spoodles in the South. So, so I was like, "Okay, we're gonna do math with spoodles."
Oh.
So I'm like, "How much does the biggest spoodle weigh?" And he's like, "I don't know, and I'm not gonna find out." Like, and I was like, "A pound? Can we say that the largest spoodle is a pound?" He's like, "I don't think there's a pound spoodle, but yes, let's go with that." I'm like, "How much do you weigh?" Like, if you can kill it with your slipper, do we really need to be terrified of it? But that helped him, like math
Yeah.
with spoodles.
Sometimes that's the thing that works.
But now, so since I've learned more about them, I can't kill them.
There's this beautiful little, info like, it's just like a little cartoon of, like, a little spider sitting there, and he's sitting there, and then he sees the person, goes, "Oh, hi, person," and he, like, lifts his little leg, and he goes, "Oh, what are you doing with that book? What are you doing with the book?" And then
Fuck!
and so then I was like then, like so, like, my daughter and I, like, we're like, it's hard to have an animal-related phobia when you love animals because you're like, "I don't wanna kill it, but it's there, and I'm afraid," and so we both realize, like, it's not its fault that we're afraid of it, but we also just don't want it there looking at us, so, like but we've now got to the point where, like, she can, "Mom, can you handle this?" And I can for the like, as long as they're, like, this big or smaller, I'm good. If they're big, then I do call my husband, but, like, he's been proud of me. Like, there was a scooter at, Olive Garden, and I just, like, picked it up, and I walked it outside, and I set it down, and I walked back in. I didn't even think anything of it. Then I'm like, "Wait, I did that!" Like, and then I just made this, like, big deal about it, like, in a
So I
good
wonder
way.
if
I'm
that's
like,
how dogs
"Everybody
feel
give
when
me
I
applause and
wonder
praise.
I wonder
I
if
did the hard thing."
right, somebody get me a mint. Like, I wonder if that's how dogs feel when they finally conquer something
I know,
they
and
have
it's
big
very
feelings
similar,
about.
right? We have to demystify it. We have to change their emotions about it. We have to like, we are doing the exact same thing, and it's not rational in both cases. We are doing the identical thing. We are finding the way in like, the way I did it is gonna be different than the way your husband could do it. The way you did it with math and logic, I'd still be like, "Yeah, but I've also seen Great Danes afraid of Chihuahuas, so I'm not falling for this math and a pound." No. Hard no. That nope. Like, and, you can even see me kinda shutting down with even just the thought, right? So, you can make jokes and, like, do the thing if that works for that person, or you do,
Yes.
like, habituation, or you do whatever. Just don't flood them, don't alpha roll them, and don't shock them for being afraid. As long as we're not
Right.
doing those things,
No public shaming.
nope.
Like, we just go, "Oh, okay.
"Oh,
Sorry." Like,
my
my
bad."
dear friend Liz, when she came to, I was like, "Oh, honey, I am
Yeah.
so sorry."
"Do you wanna see how small it was?" And then watch her go out again.
No, I
Like,
didn't do that. But
"Oh, that's right."
I was like, "No, no, 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 no. And in that moment, I was like, it wasn't what I said. It was a fuzzle.
It was a fuss.
And you could see her visibly relax.
Yeah, because
Right?
the
Because
word is even tied and that history and, like, reading that word in books, like, changing the word can matter, right?
yeah,
So when our dogs don't come when called, what do? Change the word.
right, because we may have poisoned the cue.
Mhm.
So, you are delightful, and I'm so glad that you were here and played my
Sure.
free association game with me, and it sounds like the next time we get together, we're gonna talk about learning how to learn,
I
'cause
think that's gonna be a great
I think that's gonna be a really good, great episode, and one that we've not done, and I've honestly not seen other trainers talk about it,
I
so
don't think so either.
I think we can talk about it, and you would think that would be, like, where you start.
Yeah, but I think we just get into without getting into the topic already, but, like, I think we just get into, "Okay, now we're teaching sit, now we're teaching this thing," but we don't talk about learning how to learn, which is a whole skill.
Well, and, like, you just adopted a Chihuahua, a breed that's kinda notorious for having to learn how to learn,
Yeah.
and I have 2 Silken Windhounds who also are learning how to learn,
Yeah,
and so, yeah, like, I have a 2-year-old dog who doesn't know sit,
yeah,
and my customers are getting to watch me delight in that,
yeah.
and that I'm just not worried about it, like, it's
Yeah.
not I would rather that Piero learns to love learning
Mhm.
than that he ever learns what sit means. Like,
I agree.
it doesn't matter. So, we will talk about that another time with Melissa on the Your Family Dog podcast. Please like and share the podcast. Please don't ridicule or shame people who are afraid of chihuahuas or spoodles. Please email us if you have found a device that would do what the Treat and Train does-ish even. Um, please like and share. Please rate and review. Please hype or stars or whatever, and we will
Stay
be
sexy and listen to your family dog.
right. And have a if you need to have a glass of wine, it's okay.
Never too.
We'll see maybe. Second one goes down way easier.
Always.
Don't be the mama who calls me from the closet drinking box wine and
Oh,
eating
no, don't be
potato
that person.
chips. I mean, I know that it's summer and the kids are home. We got you. Like, we got your back. There's an
Have some
episode for
respect. Do it
you.
in the bathroom.
Is the bathroom better for box wine?
Bathroom wine, you just put it in the bottom drawer where, like, you have all, like, your cotton balls and stuff. Lock yourself in there, run the shower.
It was one of the funniest calls I ever got was a mom, like, lip-sucking crying, who was
Oh,
like,
no.
"You don't understand. I'm in my closet with box wine
Baby girl.
and Lay's potato chips, and I can't go out there. They're out there." And I was like, "I'm on my way.
I'll be there in
I
5.
I will get in the car. I will grab my bait bag. I am on my way. I love you. Stay
They're
there. The
out
kids will
there.
answer the door. It'll be fine.
That's the name of this episode. They're out there.
They're out there." How the world looks to our poor dogs. So, mwah, I think you're
Mwah.
smart and pretty, and I will see you soon. We love you. We love you, listeners. And we'll talk to you next time on the Your Family Dog podcast. That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for spending part of your precious day with us. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to follow, rate, subscribe so that you never miss an episode. We'd love to hear from you. Connect with us on social media or email us at yourfamilydogpodcast@gmail.com. We'll see you soon.